So let me ask you, did you click on this video because you're not feeling confident on camera? Or maybe you're thinking to yourself, I don't really like the way I sound on camera, or I might sound dumb on camera, and I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't like the way I look on camera. And I'm here to tell you, I felt all that. And at times I still do. I've been doing this now for 15 years, and I struggled with that for a long time. But over the years, I figured out 3 mental hacks that I use even to this day, and I want to share them with you here today. And my hopes are that you are going to be able to feel more confident when you show up. And there's one little trick that I'm going to share with you that really helps me. It really does. I mean, once I framed it differently as far as how I got on camera, and then once I started getting on camera and I realized that nothing bad was going to happen, I actually felt more confident. So we can create confidence by actually doing. And so what I want to do here is I want to sit down and I want to chat with you about this. I'm out by the pool, and it's a beautiful night. Lights just kicked on back there, and I thought, you know what? I need to share this. I had a comment come in the other day, and it was like, Scott, what do you do if you don't like the way you sound on camera? And that's what really triggered me to want to share this with you, because I didn't realize that a lot of people do struggle with this. So my hopes are to help you, all right? So let's just get right into it. The number one thing, okay, that allows me and has allowed me to be able to do what I'm doing right now, show up on camera and hit that record button, and that is being prepared. I mean, if you think about it, if you're not prepared for anything, you're going to feel nervous. You're going to feel anxiety. You're going to feel sweaty palms. I mean, you probably will still feel that anyway. But if you're prepared, you're going to have less anxiety, less thoughts of screwing up. And let me just tell you something here. You're never going to really screw up. There's things that I've done just here on this video so far that if I could, well, I could, but if I wanted to, I could go back and re-record it because I just didn't like the way it sounded. But I've pushed through that because I want to share this message. But I'm also prepared. I've got 3 things that I'm going to share with you. And I came up with these 3 when I was thinking of what I was going to share here with you today, because I kind of went through my own thing. I'm like, how have I been able to battle this and conquer it and really hack my brain? And that's what I'm going to share with you. But it was because I'm prepared, right? I sat down for 10 minutes and I thought to myself, what do I want to share with this message? What do I want to share that can help someone? And I'm hoping it's going to help you. So being prepared. And a lot of times I'll sit down and I will write my title out, which, by the way, your YouTube title, like that should be like number 1. Like you should be starting with the title. Years ago, I would just come up with like, oh, I want to talk about like something, right? Or I would go off of a search, that people were searching for, because that's how YouTube used to work. Now it's more of a browse, but it's the title. And if I start with the title, like this one here, I knew I wanted to talk about something to help you with confidence. And so I'm like, what could I come up with? And so I looked at other titles that I've done in the past, and I saw that people always like to hear hacks, tricks, tips, right? And so I came up with hacks because that's what it is. I hacked my brain. I tricked my brain into doing this. And because of that, I'm able to do this now. But that's what I did. I came up with the title. And once again, the titles are the most important part, and then you fill in the blanks. So I came up with 3 bullet points, and if you want, you can write these bullet points down. I've done that before. You can write it on your hand if you want, or you can write it on a little Post-it note and stick it to the tripod or whatever, and that way there, you're never going to forget what you're supposed to do next. Now, I'm not a big fan of scripting everything out. Like, I'm not scripting here. I'm just kind of winging it, okay? But it's because of the second thing I'm going to share with you and why I don't get so stressed out about showing up here and just going, record, because I'm not as worried about it because of the second thing I'm going to share with you here in a second. But I should say, if you struggle with titles, I've got a resource for you. If you want it, in the comments, just put hooks. Just put hooks. I put together 10 titles that I use, and I take those as inspiration and I kind of rearrange some things, but those are 10 titles that have worked really well for me, and I still use them to this day, and I just mix and match, and I give you examples in that document. It's a little swipe file that I created. If you want it, just put hooks in the comments and I'll send you a copy of that, all right? Because you gotta start with the topic, and then from the topic, then we fill in, and I'll probably do a video here on this channel on how to come up with your outline, and maybe even come up with like how you can make it a little bit easier with the outline. But really, the gist is create that outline, and then if you can, memorize the outline. But if you can't memorize it, just tell people, hey, I got a note here with some, if I got more than 3, I'm gonna have to write them down, okay? So the second thing, all right, let's get to the second thing. This is why I'm not so worried about saying ums and ahs, and I might say a word that's not right, or the way I pronounce it. I mean, that's one of my big things, is I know that I don't say words properly. My family lets me know all the time. They're like, Dad, you didn't, like, what do you mean when you're saying milk instead of milk? Like, I don't know, it sounds right to me. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Am I saying milk right, or is it milk, or what is it? I think I say milk, but it's supposed to be milk. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. So the second thing, and the reason why I don't worry about this so much, is because right now, yes, I am communicating with you, but in my mind, I'm thinking about talking to one of my closest friends. And I'm talking to my closest friend, like this here, my little Osmo 6 that I have this on my table, it's holding my phone. That is my friend right now. And his name is Dave, by the way. And he's a real person, actually. Some people make up like a fictitious avatar and they go through this whole exercise. I just basically come up with the person that's in my life that I can see and I can visualize. And if I'm talking to him, I'm not gonna worry about saying ums and ahs and stuttering, or just saying a word wrong, or the way I look or the way I sound. Like, that stuff all goes away when I do that. And the third thing I'm gonna share with you, though, is it's going to help you get better at it, okay? It's gonna help you get better at it. So again, first thing, be prepared, okay? Come up with your title, that's first, and then fill in what you're gonna cover. What are the bullet points? What are the points? What is the message that you want to convey, okay? And then the second thing is just imagine you're talking to one of your closest friends, you're having a cup of coffee, and you are just explaining something, right? They asked you, hey, how do you get on camera and have confidence? How do you do it? And then I would say, hey, Dave, this is how I do it, right? But I don't say Dave, I just say, this is what I would do, okay? Now the third thing is, and I've actually got a fourth thing I'm gonna share with you, but the third thing, okay, and this one here is really, really important, because once we do the first and the second thing, we're gonna record now, guess what's gonna happen? We're going to actually record. And what does that do? It gives you reps. It's like anything. The more you do it, and then you see nothing bad happened, you're going to go, oh, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't bad at all. And you start to build up that confidence. I mean, we've all done that. We get nervous to go somewhere. Maybe you're gonna go with some people you've never met before, and you're gonna tag along, and you're just like, oh, is everybody gonna like me? Or am I gonna be able to make a conversation? Am I gonna be by myself in the corner? You're like, am I gonna have anybody to talk to? And then you go there and you have the best time of your life, and you're like, oh wow, that wasn't so bad. And then you meet someone and it's great. But the buildup of it and not doing it, but the more that you do that and you see that nothing bad happens, you get better at it. And you just get better at communicating. You get better at using your hands like I'm doing. Like sometimes I overuse my hands, but I like to add energy to it because that's how I am with my friend. If I'm sitting here talking with my buddy Dave, I'm like, dude, you gotta get started. I need you to record at least one video a week, man. And that's literally the conversation I had with him just the other day. And I said it just like that. I'm like, dude, come on. Like, fire up that camera and come up with your title, come up with some bullet points, hit record, and don't worry about what people are gonna think, because just think you're just telling me about the topic that we're talking about. And then once you do that, it's going to become better, and you're going to get better, and you're going to get more confident over time, because that's what happens. It's like a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it's going to get. And I've been doing this now for 15 years, And let me just tell you something. It has not been easy. There's been plenty of times. I even tried reading off of a teleprompter. Horrible for me. I felt too rigid. I need this. I need to be loose and like I'm just talking to a friend, okay? And so that really, really helped me. But the fourth thing, I'm throwing a fourth one in here. If you think to yourself, like right now, I'm thinking to myself, if you're watching this and you're like, you know, Scott, I really appreciate you making this for me. You helped me. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot a video tomorrow now. And I'm gonna think about what you said. And I'm gonna actually do what I wasn't going to do before. And then you do that, and then you come back and you're like, wow, that was awesome. I was a little nervous. I did it, but nothing bad happened. And you were right. That's gonna make me feel really good. So that's impact. When you can make an impact and you know that you're doing something good for someone. And again, this could be helping someone catch, bass in a pond with their son. Their son's like, hey, Dad, will you go fishing? Sure, we'll go fishing, but I don't really know how to fish. And you look up a video and you help that person pick the right bait, pick the right time to go, and then you go and you're a hero to your son because you caught a huge bass and you had a great time. You're gonna be like, oh man, John, thank you so much for sharing that with me. I had a great time with my son. We caught a bass this weekend and he thinks I'm a superhero. It doesn't have to be where you're solving this major problem, but you're helping someone achieve something. And that's what it's all about. So that to me is impact. And that, when I think about that, like if I don't do this right now, I'm not depositing this goodwill into the world. I look at like every video that I can post, even if it's not edited and it has some ums and ahs in there, I'm gonna be able to connect with you and you're going to be able to hopefully benefit from this. And that's gonna make me feel good. And then of course, yes, down the road, there could be ways that you could buy me a cup of coffee. Like right now, I'm using the Osmo 6, I'm using the DJI mic. I have links in my description. And if you're in the market for that, you could go through my links down below. But you don't have to, right? But that's a way that you can kind of support the channel. So there's ways down the road that once you know, like, and trust someone, things become way easier. And you can make money at it without feeling sleazy and without being like selling, all the time. So building the audience is big. If you've been watching this channel for any period of time, you know that that's what I'm about. I actually did a whole video on how to not chase the money, but really how to chase impact. And you know what? I think you should watch that video next. It's not long, about 10 minutes. Go here, watch that video. I'll walk you through that, and I think it will also make you feel even more confident when you know that you're making an impact in the world. Watch that video next, and I'll see you there.